back to the gaslighting with Pete Hegseth, we talked about earlier that they have an administration that you admit no wrong, and not only do you not admit wrong, you spin it in a way to where it's not even close to their fault. This is Josh Hawley, probably one of the biggest wusses in the history of Congress. He was the guy, if you remember, that was running as fast as he could on January 6th, the same day when he was giving them the big fist and pumping them up. But he was the first one pushing women over. He was pushing, he was the fuck out of there. He didn't give a damn.
Yeah.
But this is with him with Laura Ingraham explaining to her why, let's move on, guys.
11:44 a.m. The plan included precise information about weapons packages, targets, and timing. Senator, your reaction to this?
Well, I thought what the Secretary of Defense just said, Laura, was an outstanding statement. And listen, I mean, we don't know how much of this is accurate or not, but it looks like even if everything the Atlantic reported is true, it's the president's advisors discussing among themselves options they might recommend to the president. And nobody can deny the success of what the president is doing here, which is what Pete Hegseth just underscored. And this is what the leftist media is reduced to. They can't argue with the policies, which the American people support. They can't argue with this new demonstration of American strength that is keeping Americans safe at home and abroad. And so now we're griping about who's on a text message and who's not. I mean, come on.
Oh my God. And acting like that is not a big deal. And then they're doing the same bullshit that they always do. Blame the left. You know why they continue to do it? Because it's fucking worked. It has worked for the last 8 years. And even though Joe Biden won that election in 2020, the fact that it was even as close as it was is still saying a lot of how their messaging gets out to the American people. You're going to blame the left. And I will tell you, coming from the side that always claims alpha men and calling other guys beta men, I have never seen a bigger group of quote unquote beta men than these dudes on the MAGA side. And I'm talking about every single one of them, whether they are part of the administration, whether they are part of the right-wing propaganda media, or you are one of their voters. You are a soft, sorry excuse for a man because you are always on your knees gargling this guy as much as you can, and it is pathetic.
I know. Unbelievable.
Yep.
They know better. Rubio knows better. They know better. It's just it's bad. And what they're doing is they're switching us and making us talk about the reporter on that group chat when it's more about they were on Signal, something that was hackable. That's the first and foremost, because they're not supposed to be doing this on their personal phones or on Signal when they're saying you're supposed to be in a skiff in a private air. There's protocol for this. This is literally against the law. What they did is against the law. So not only would someone else, who worked in government, if they did this kind of stuff, you wouldn't just get fired. You may be charged with
something. Correct. Thankfully, by the way, Lana, that journalist was on there, because if he wasn't, this would go on throughout their entire administration.
Right.
And who knows if they will even correct it. They're so arrogant that they might say, we don't give a fuck. We're still going to do whatever the fuck we want to.
They're going to do it. They're going to still do that. They're still going to use Signal. And now everyone's going, and they probably already have gotten hacked and don't even know it because they're too stupid. Yep. Like, this administration is just they're really stupid. They don't know. They don't have experience. How would they know? How would they know certain things? Just how would they? Trump has fired everyone who knows anything. So these people are just in here, just blind, making it up as they go. They don't have any real, they don't just think like Trump with the fucking tariffs. We're just tariffing everything. We don't need Canada. We fucking do need Canada. We need Canada's electricity. We don't need their electricity. Then why do we have it in the
Right.
first place? Apparently we do. Apparently we also need their lumber. Right? Like
Right.
there's things that we don't have. We're not going to make an iPhone here next year. It's not going to happen because it can't happen. And if it ever does happen, it's going to cost you $1,500. Like you're
Right.
not going to, like it's just not. It just makes you want to beat your head on something because it's like, I cannot believe that people are this fucking stupid.
I
And
can't either.
and it's not just like like it's okay not to just know stuff because people just don't know, people don't follow like this, but just not to even want to look it up.
Yep.
That's what gets me.
Yep.
If somebody's telling me fucking someone's making bombs with condoms, I'm looking that shit up. Like, how is that? That doesn't make sense to me. How does it
Right.
work? What's going on? Let me Google and make it make sense. Like, you don't even have to use your hands anymore. You could be like, hey, Alexa, are they making condoms?
Right.
You know what I mean? Alexa's right here. She would tell me. Look at she's like,
She's gonna tell you now.
yeah, exactly. She's like, like,
She's gonna say that's the dumbest question you've asked me so far, Lana Quest. I don't know why anybody would ask me something that stupid.
right? You got Chat GPT,
Yep.
even Grok, or
Yep.
whatever, however you pronounce it. It will give you the answers.
And I've used it, and it actually is. It doesn't. You would think because it's an Elon Musk sort of AI that it's going to be biased, but it's not. I've used it before, and and even if you look it up on AI, you can continue to do research on it through Google and stuff like that, rather than just taking the word of the first thing that you see. Because unfortunately, you can't do that anymore. I mean, when we're looking up things, it's more highly likely that what we're looking up the first time is true. But there are times where we can obviously confirm it. But I don't know. You're right about the people that just wear the stupidity on their sleeves so proudly. And there was a time where if you didn't know anything about something and it wasn't a subject you weren't necessarily into, you just like, I don't really know. That's really not my thing. But everybody wants to make politics their thing now, and they need to find the angle to talk about. And what a lot of dumb people do is they find the easiest angle to talk about. They find the route of what is the easiest for me to understand, because if I have to read beyond what Joe Rogan or All In Podcast is telling me, then that's just too much. But if I can understand what they're telling me and then I can regurgitate that in an argument against a liberal, then now I'm part of the conversation and I'm dominating this conversation because of the facts that they gave me, when obviously not one fucking thing they say is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.